All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Jesse and
Yolanda. We're the Fluffy Couple Travels.
we're gonna try to make videos more consistent.
I know we're kind of behind on.
We're way behind.
We're a few countries behind.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to knock out a few, so you'll see the same background for a few of our videos. Hopefully, that we're gonna knock out today, and then we'll try to keep at least every week or two. Try to make a video where we're at and what we're doing. We're gonna start off talking about Japan. We spent 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks in Japan.
Like
We
maybe,
went to 3 different cities.
the last of July.
Last
The
week
first-
of July, and then the first 2 weeks of. No wait, the first week of August.
All right, so we're gonna talk about our likes and dislikes of visiting Japan. We went in July and August. It was hot.
I don't want to say hot. It was humid. It was very humid. But yes, if the sun's out, of course, you get the hot.
I'll agree. It wasn't temperature hot. We're from Texas.
It's just temperature hot. You don't have humidity.
She said that. I think it's humid in Texas, but man, we were sweating buckets in Japan. Buckets.
I mean, we were buying towels along the way because they sell towels, or little hand towels that in these stores that we buy them. I mean, we buy them for souvenirs, but we were buying them to wipe the sweat because we were sweating so much. So if you're not like from Florida, Hawaii, or any of those places that has humidity there, I would suggest you find ways to cool yourself down because you will get dehydrated.
Side note: I had bought, what was that? Neck
Yeah.
AC.
Oh
that I
yeah.
returned.
It was a neck. I mean, they sell them as fans too.
The one
It's
I
a neck.
bought.
I know,
Over
but
in
it's
Texas.
a AC one though. Yeah.
You remember the name of it?
Uh-uh.
I don't remember the name of it. It was like a Coolio 3, I want to say. And I returned it before we came on this trip. And I think that was a big mistake.
Well, he did think he would need it. He didn't think it would work. But he also said that about my seat. Get my seat. I don't know the thing. I'm going to show you my seat. Because when I bought this seat, he told me that we're not going to use it. Plus, it has I bought one, so it's a little bit more expensive. I bought one that had a charger in it, so while you're sitting, you can charge your thing. So this is my seat. This is my seat.
I will admit
And,
that I did say she wasn't going to need it.
oh, but guess what? He's been using it the entire time before he ended up buying his phone here. But it has a charger that you can charge your phone. So it's a little bit, it's not really heavy, but it's a little bit heavier than ones without it because it does have the battery on it.
Now, I will explain that because it's one of our dislikes about Japan. And let's just, since you brought that up, let's just get it out of the way. Japan has no seating in the public area.
So like if you're walking down the street, like one time we was going to the anime area where they have supposedly had anime stores everywhere, and there's no seating anywhere on the streets. They have like a little bar thing, but I think it's just to prevent you from.
Yeah, it's just like a metal bar, and you see them.
And it's very low. It's very low to the ground.
And parks, no, there's no seating. You're gonna stand wherever you're at in Japan. And if you're a tourist and you're spending those long days walking around, you want somewhere to sit down, and you're just not gonna find it unless you're in a restaurant. You're just not gonna find it.
And then depending on what restaurant you go to, there's a lot of tourists.
There was a lot of tourists.
There was a lot of tourists when we went, and sometimes they're crowded, so you probably couldn't even find a seat in there sometimes.
So, and while we're on that note, we went to 3 different places. We went to Tokyo, Osaka,
Fukuoka.
and we're gonna make videos specific to those 3 locations.
This is just
This is
our
our
overall
overall,
view.
yeah. Okay.
So, so no seating in most areas. And mostly, yes, they do have seating in parks, but that it's more like in the center of the park. So if you're on the outskirts of it, like near the streets and stuff, you're not gonna find seating.
Your feet and calves are gonna be hurting.
If you're not used to walking, I came from a job that I had to stand 12 hours, so my feet wasn't working. I do have bad knees, so make sure you have shoes that has arch support that helps your knees. Because my knees, there are days that we were walking all day and my knees were hurting. I mean, they were hurting.
What's next?
Transportation.
That's, we should have broken it down between likes and dislikes. But transportation is on the like side. What she would say was confusing at first. And of course, it's going to be anywhere you go, somewhere new.
Because you're not used to their system, however they have it. I mean, you would think it'd be similar to the United States, like you go to New York, train station. But it's definitely not. They have different kinds of trains.
They do. Oh, no, I was thinking about when we arrived at the airport and we flew into a different airport in Bell.
Yeah.
And so, and I wanted to say, they're helpful and not helpful at the same time.
And then you have different levels, like at the train station you have different levels, like you have basement floor, you have the first floor, they have like A, B, A1, A2, B1, B2, and E, whatever. And so at first you're gonna be very confused because you're like, and then even if you try to use Google Map, it'll tell you you're where you're supposed to be, but you're not because it's on a different level. But it doesn't really help you or tell you which level.
And when you fly in to whatever airport you're gonna fly in, we flew into Tokyo, and we flew in to one airport, and our daughter flew into the other. I don't remember the names.
We flew into the Hakata airport, and she
And
flew into a different
we was at the little subway
stations.
ticket machine, and there are people at the ticket machine to help you out.
Yeah. And
However, for tourists, you get special tourist passes, or you can get them at those machines. However, the people there will not give them to you. They will not mention them to you. You have to know that's what you want.
on top of that, those machines don't take all U.S. credit cards or debit cards.
True.
So when we try to use the machine the first time, we tried to use a card and we couldn't. So we had to go, they had a ticket office thing, and we had to get our tickets there. So unless you're carrying cash.
And it was a long line.
Yeah. So unless you're carrying cash, you probably won't. And I noticed that other tourists from different countries couldn't use their card either, and they had to go to the station, which sometimes it's hard to find in certain stations that we found as we was going through Japan. They're hard to find. You have to really read the signs.
Yeah, but
Or know
I
what
think
it is.
the airport station is the,
Easiest.
I was gonna say the most difficult.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Well, at least they helped you. At the other places, they don't really help you. Sometimes you're just there by
Yeah, but
yourself.
we kind of knew,
Yeah.
and so it's more easy to navigate. What's next?
Oh, and on the train station, if it's crowded, they will stuff you in there. They don't care. So they will stuff you in there, and they tell you also there to watch your things, so don't have your backpack
Oh yeah.
on your back, put it on your front. So, but yeah, just beware that if it's a crowded car, they will push you in there, try to get you in there, or try to get them in there, so just be prepared.
You know, I hesitate to mention this, but I'm gonna mention it anyway. The JR Pass. I know there's a lot of talk about the JR Pass.
That helped us a lot.
And we did buy it, even though it would have been cheaper to buy the individual tickets. So we bought the JR Pass to go from Tokyo to Osaka, and Osaka to Fukuoka. Yeah. It would have been cheaper for us to buy those tickets individual than to buy the JR Pass. but we thought we would have a day that would take us back to Tokyo, and that would have made the JR pass cheaper.
Would have made it different.
Yeah, if we went back to Tokyo and then back, then it would have been cheaper. We didn't actually do that, but that's why we bought it. So that's something you might want to look at. You know, everybody says JR pass, which just went up, so now it's even more expensive. But I think the one-way tickets are about $100 from like Tokyo to Osaka, and the JR pass was like $250 or something like that.
Per person.
So if we'd have bought the tickets individual, we'd have paid $200. But to go back to Tokyo, we'd have paid $300, and then to go back to Osaka, that'd been $400. The JR pass was like $250.
And all you have to do is go to the machine, get your seat, and that's it with the JR pass.
Yeah, you can reserve your seats.
You don't have to pay anything. You just gotta make sure you keep that ticket though.
But you can also reserve your tickets without a JR pass. With just buying the ticket, you can reserve the seat then. So.
Oh, and on that note, that if you are going to go somewhere, it's like we went from Tokyo to Osaka. If you're going somewhere long distance, you want to make sure that you do it ahead of time, like at least 2 days ahead of time, because
yes, they sell out.
Yeah, and because we did that, we mistakenly didn't do it until the day before, and it was hard to find. You can't find seats together.
Like different all hours, man. They sell out.
Yeah, they were selling out as we were looking at them.
And I think that's because the trains are so fast, so you can work, or you can live 200 miles away, and then take the train and still make it to work.
But there's
on time.
also the JR Pass. They only do 2 fast trains. There's one that's faster, but they don't do those trains.
I forgot. It's not the Shindo, whatever.
Yeah, it is. It's the Shindo. Yeah, it's that one because that's the fastest. They have 3 different kinds. They have regular train. They have the fast train, and then they got their fastest one, which is, I forgot what's the name of it, Shindo something. But anyways, that's the fastest. JR Pass does not do that train.
What's next?
Oh yeah, vending machine.
So we're on the lights category.
Yeah. So, although we mentioned it was hot, humid, and you get dehydrated, they have vending machines everywhere. Everywhere. And so you can get something to drink. The only thing is that they have drinks that looks like water, but it's like Pedialyte, I guess. It has electrolytes and stuff in it, and it's kind of sweet, and you drink it. So you can mistake it for water. It looks like it's water, but it's not water. But anyway, but they have machines everywhere to keep you hydrated. That's what I liked about it.
Caveat on that, I'm gonna bring a negative to her. Like, they have vending machines everywhere, no trash cans.
Sometimes you'll find them by the vending machines, but most of the time you won't.
No trash can.
Yeah, you will not find a trash can anywhere.
So, bear in mind. What's next?
You said no trash can. You said no
I thought we
CG.
were on lights.
Well, I liked the culture that they have in Japan. Like, they don't really, everything may be modern and everything, but they try to keep it their own. You can rent kimonos in certain places and walk around in them. But most of the time I've seen women here and there wearing their kimonos, walking around in their dress, the kimonos or yukatas, walking around. I like that. You don't really find that in other places that we've been thus far. Google with the trains.
We did. Okay, so
we're gonna extend on the train.
I know she said Google Maps wouldn't tell you what floor you were on, but it kind of improved like after the airport one, or maybe we just learned to read it better.
Maybe, yeah.
Because Google Maps kind of takes you exactly where you need to be in Japan. It's not like that everywhere, but in Japan, it will get you there. You can use Google Maps and be okay.
You just gotta learn to read what we didn't know. On the side, it'll say B1, floor, stuff like that, and I didn't realize that at first. And yeah, so that it will help you. Oh, I also put on here that our like is a sense of direction. The reason I say that is because everywhere in Japan, you go. Let's say you're walking downstairs, or you're walking on the sidewalk. They have a certain way you walk. You walk on the left side. You walk on the left side. If you go in one direction, you walk on the left side. If you go on the other one, you walk on that side. There's no like, you might, of course, obviously, you might intermingle, but majority of the time, you go up and down stairs, it's one side. You go on the escalator, if you're not walking up the escalator, you're to the side. And I can guarantee you that's about the only place besides Korea's kind of like that, but the only place that's like that. And
They're more strict than most
countries.
Most other Asian countries we've been to, they're more strict about it.
Yeah, so that's what I liked about it, because everywhere else, it's kind of a little bit like, excuse me. And then,
so for cell service, we're both still making payments on our phones. We bought phones just because we knew we were going on a trip.
Better
and we were
cameras,
supposed to pay them off, and we didn't. So we have to use, of course, the international plans from our service back home. In Japan, we had absolutely no problems with our cell phone service at all.
No drops, no anything. It worked really well.
Except for charging us $15 a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so cell phone, your international plan will work in Japan.
There's also they have salesmen when you go places, but they're not going to push you to try to sell. They're not going to come up and be in your face to sell you anything. If they do come up, they're like that, they're asking you and you're like, no, and then they'll go off. There's no pushy salesmen anywhere, as far as I remember in Japan.
That is true. But I'm going to take a TV time out, because I know somebody's thinking, and they talk about cell phone service, and they tell us what cell phone service they have. We have AT&T. So we have AT&T, and it worked everywhere in Japan that we went with no problems. Okay, back to our Ready to Scripture program.
Okay, and then Black culture.
So these are for my more tan brothers and sisters that back in the States, you know how it is when you walk into a store and you're kind of getting followed around. You don't really have that, or I didn't really experience that in Japan. I wasn't a black person, I was a person in Japan. So when I walk places, I do things, there's no one staring at me to make sure I do.
And even if that was the case, they're not just staring at him, they're staring at everybody. And
it took a little to get used to, when we walk into a place now, we have those things that we concentrate. All right, where is security? Where is the man? Where are the people? So I know, so I can see them seeing me. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all understand. So I'm looking for that. Yeah, I'm looking for that when I walk into places, and it's not there. And it's a weird sensation because you're like,
why aren't they right?
What's going on?
Why ain't somebody looking at?
But you do get used to it, you'll get used to it and you'll enjoy it. I'll say that.
Yeah. And then so are the dislikes.
All right, so the dislikes.
Dirty.
So before we went, I was looking at YouTube videos, and everybody talked about how clean Japan was. I didn't really. It's cleaner than Korea, but I didn't see it being.
I understand what you mean. Like there are times we would come up a subway, and there's like homeless people there, or there's trash right there that people leave their bottles of not water but like tea, because they drink a lot of kind of tea thing there, but their bottles are there. When you're coming up, like if you could sit there, somebody will leave tea. Now, saying that though, I don't think it's more of the locals, Japanese people doing that. I think it's more of the tourist people doing that. And on that note, they do have cleaning crews that come at night and start cleaning the streets. I mean, they have actual people out there cleaning the streets and early in the mornings.
And you'll see them.
Yeah, and you'll see them there. And early in the morning, you'll see them cleaning the streets. If you're out early in the morning, which we had to be a few times, so then I put on there this, like, okay, when we was there, they had their first celebration of doing fireworks.
Oh, that's what the name of it was.
Or was it in Osaka? Was that in Osaka? No, Skytree. Remember Skytree?
No. I think it was Tokyo.
Okay, so it's near Skytree where it was, but and there's like, they said it's been like a decade or so since they had fireworks.
So,
I mean, it's a good thing that they had it. It's just
maybe we were not, since we're tourists, maybe we didn't get all the official announcement. But they shut down. No, it couldn't have been, because there was a lot of people stranded. They shut down different sections of the subway.
And then on top of that, if you happen to get there, like we were coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
We were coming from somewhere else, and we had to get there to get on a different kind of train to get back to our hotel. But anyways, our transfer trains. But anyway, so you can't. They shut it down to where they lead the crowd in one way.
But and there's really no signs.
Yeah. They just tell you that way.
Yeah, just a person going, and you're like, I'm not going that way. I'm going this way.
I need to go here, and they're just keep telling you go that way, which ended up us just going out on the street and then having to go down the street to get to the subway that we needed to get back to our hotel.
And we're not talking like 100 people. We're talking thousands.
I mean, you go down the stairs, it's just packed with people. Packed.
It
packed.
It took us forever just to get off the subway down to the street.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And stuff.
And had we known something beforehand, we could have planned. Yeah.
We probably got off somewhere else to try to, do our route a different way. But we didn't think it would be that chaotic and that crowd. I mean, it was so crowded.
Maybe, and we talked about that at the time because maybe they didn't expect it either.
Yeah, because like I said, it was the first time they was talking about how it was the first time they did the fireworks in decades that they was able to do that, and then so everybody came out from everywhere. Everybody came out from everywhere to watch these fireworks. And there's 2 spots on this river that they were doing fireworks, but that's what one of the dislikes I had, because I'm not there to see the fireworks. I wasn't part of this crowd that came to view that. I'm just trying to get to my hotel. That's all I was trying to do, and this was just awful. I was just like, oh my gosh, and it's so hot, it's so humid, and you got all this body heat. And
is that after we came from the ninja thing?
I think so, Indo Wonder.
Yeah.
But I mean, after a wonderful day, and then you come to that, and it's just like, ugh.
It was a long day, so maybe that was.
That could have been part of it too, because it was like 9, 10 o'clock. We're just trying to get to our hotel.
What's next?
And that's it.
That was it.
And I didn't have anything else.
Okay. So overall, what did we think of Japan?
I loved it.
I knew she would say that.
I loved it, and I want to go back.
For me, I didn't go to Japan for me. I went because we went with our daughter. Our kid was supposed to go. The daughter was the only one that made it. Her and her mother wanted to go, so I tagged along. And I wanted to do the robots and anime. I got little anime, no robots. So.
I mean, mostly because it's just so far to go everywhere, and then to get back, and then.
But one of the things I was not expecting about Japan. Oh, and the beach, which I didn't make it to either. But on the train, going from Tokyo to Osaka, I didn't realize how beautiful Japan was. But when you're looking out the window, it is really beautiful. We were in the city.
So you can't, of course, like when you're in the city, you can't see the countryside, the green stuff, when you're in the city. So, yeah.
But yeah, Tokyo, it was beautiful. Negative for me. In Tokyo, when we went into restaurants and there was a language barrier, which I don't understand. Well, I understand and I don't understand. Because Tokyo gets a lot of international visitors.
And then it has bases in
Japan. We tried to do a little bit of Japanese, of course. You're visiting, you want to do your part.
Yeah.
And then we're also trying to use a translator. It seemed like they made no effort to relate to English, or if it wasn't in Japanese, they're like, don't understand. Don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
like our first night there, our daughter, she knew a little more Japanese than we did. She don't know Japanese fully, but she had to order in Japanese.
I'm like, you can't understand Coke. You know, drink Coke.
They don't understand it.
Don't understand. I'm like, okay. But other than that, I enjoyed Japan. I won't say that I won't, because I did.
I love Japan. I'd go back.
I knew that was coming.
I'd go back. Oh, but the expense in Japan is the reason why. Is the reason why I won't stay for like a month.
Japan is expensive.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
Although it says that the US dollars is above the yen, still they rack up the prices to where it's the same.
Nothing costs a yen.
Yeah.
So.
You might as well just do it as US dollars, because they'll raise the prices to that.
You're gonna pay New York prices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
So that's where you should set your budget.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay New York prices.
Yeah, because even though, because that's how we looked at it. You know, we went to a place, Costa Rica, and the US dollars was above them, and we was like, oh, it'll be okay. And then they racked the prices up to where it's the same, almost the same. You're paying the same. So here it's the same way. So
yeah, I think every tourist area, you're gonna pay the same prices. You're not gonna get off cheap. But okay, my throat is going and going.
I hear that. I think it's this air right there.
That is our review on Japan.
Yes. Now the people, I think it's funny. Like when you go on the trains, the people, they won't. I don't know if it's because we're fluffy or not, or because he's like that. He's
beautiful.
Beautiful. But they will not sit next to you. I could be sitting by myself and they will not sit next to you. And it's like, because I am fluffy, they're like, the way they look like, oh God, she's gonna sit next to me. And so, but if you're there and you got seats next to you, and then there's seats like across from you on the train, they will not sit next to you. The only people that will sit next to you, that's the only seat, and then they'll sit next to you. But other than that, they will not go out of their way to sit next to you. And I'm not saying they're being rude. It's just, their culture. It's just what they grew up with. So I'm just.
Overall, I wouldn't say that rude. They're just not bothered. They're not gonna. They're not gonna go out their way to say hello.
Yeah.
They're not gonna speak to you.
They're not gonna look at you. They're not gonna be like, "Hey, where you from?"
They're not gonna make conversation.
Yeah.
You're just there. See you.
Yeah. There might be some. You might run into some people that might talk to you, but that's for us. for us, that's rare. Maybe if we were younger, skinnier, whatever, they might make conversation. I've seen that happen at a hotel we stayed at, but for us, that didn't happen. So, but your experience might be different.
So overall, we say go.
Yeah.
If you have the chance, go see Japan. We think you'll be happy with it.
Mm-hmm. But make sure you have a plan of where you want to go, because you know the time to get to certain places takes up most of your day.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
See
Happiness.
you next time.
Bye. I said bye. Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Oh.
I'm glad I remembered the expense.